Happening now, travel misery taking off and likely to get worse as the government shutdown triggers even more flight delays. This was the scene this morning at Bush Intercontinental in Houston. Long lines at security, and this past weekend was the worst for air traffic control staffing since the shutdown began more than a month ago. CNN aviation correspondent Pete Montine is here in the Situation Room with us. You've been looking through, Pete, the FAA operations plans. What will today and the coming days be like?
Well, the FAA just updated the list, and the facility responsible for flights approaching Newark Liberty International Airport is short-staffed today. Also, the center facility responsible for high-altitude flights around New York. Those are the two spots of concern so far. But history has shown that things can change pretty fast. It's pretty close to how Friday started, which kicked off the worst weekend for air traffic control staffing shortages since the start of this shutdown 34 days ago. This is what we've been monitoring. It's called the FAA National Airspace Operations Plan. Published every few hours, shows air traffic control facilities with short staffing. And on a normal day,
that's crazy.
There might be one or two facilities here. On Friday, this was the list. 46 different facilities. The three New York City airports have been especially hard hit, and the FAA says on Friday those facilities saw nearly 80% of controllers call out, and that is what creates the bind. And the FAA says it has no choice in some cases but to slow the pace of flights and put into place delays or ground stops. I want you to listen now to what Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said about that.
Well, does it become a flight emergency, a safety issue? No, we will stop traffic. So we're not going to let that happen. I think the real consequence is what kind of rolling delays do you have throughout the system, right? We've seen problems at LA, in Dallas, in DC, Boston, Atlanta. And so I think it's only going to get worse.
Seems like no place is safe right now. In all, this weekend saw more than 16,000 flight delays nationwide.
That's
Remember,
crazy
air
as
traffic
hell.
controllers still working without pay during this shutdown. That $0 paycheck they received just last Tuesday was insult to injury. And Duffy said on Sunday the White House is looking for what he calls pots of money to get controllers paid again, but he says the rules there are pretty strict. By the way, TSA agents also working without pay. No major surprise on day 34 of the shutdown. There are delays at TSA checkpoints as well. This was the line at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston. At one point, the TSA line there stretched 3 hours long.
Come on, man. Look at that. When you thought 1 hour was good enough to get to the airport, or 2 hours was enough to get to the airport and get to your seat and make it on time. Now, you're going to need at least 4 hours because 3 hours you got to take to get through the TSA line, bro. Look, it's a state of emergency. I wouldn't even fly right now. Facts, I wouldn't even fly right now, bro. It just seems dangerous. You got to stand. When you got to work it backwards. Government shutdown. They don't pay federal workers. TSA don't show up to work. TSA ain't working. They're not getting paid. Haven't been paid in over a month. They don't want to show up to work. Now they're losing hella money on transportation, Boeing, all that shit. Losing hella money because people, not only flights are being canceled, people are canceling their flights because they're worried about their safety. Some people don't care about that. They're like, well, we're going to get there, right? Cool. And then you got the individual. So now it's taking you more time to get to your flight. More people not showing up to work. Now you got to overwork being there. So you got to think as the employee. You got to think as the employer. You got to think as the employee. And then you got to think of the customer. An employer is like, damn, what's going on? I'm losing billions of dollars not sending these flights through. The employee is like, damn, I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my bills. Why am I still showing up to work? I have to go do DoorDash or some other form of income. I might have to sell the cat, G. Facts. You think they're not thinking that way? They might have to sell the kitty, G. And I hope it don't get that way because it's all because of a shutdown. And then you got to think of the customer. Is it safe for me to ride? Is it straight for me to fly? You know what I'm saying? And if all those questions is no, man, you got to not go. Because I'm not risking my life because a dude's sleepy because he worried about his girl not paying the bills because she ain't got no money and it's going slow. Now, I would expect pilots and stuff, they should be okay because they're getting that bread. Air traffic controllers are getting money too, but if 80% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their savings account, why would we assume TSA pilots and air traffic control have money saved up, bro? You know what I'm saying? And then you got to think about it. You know, if you got bills to do, like your car note, your mortgage, You know what I mean? Your mortgage might be safe a little bit for 3 months, but still, at least you don't want that shit to back up. Then you got your car note, you got your credit cards. You know, you think your credit card company care that you're late? Ding on your credit, bro. He's over 30 days late on his credit card. You get what I'm saying? Dinged your credit. It's going to stay there for a good minute. Dinged your credit on your car. You late. And now the next month's bill is coming and you still ain't got the money because the government shut down. Yes, the car company is going to give you leniency, but you also got to think. They still want that money when you get that money. So now you got to give them 2 months worth. You got to give the credit card 2 months minimum balance. You got to give your mortgage 2 months of that shit now. Now, all the money just disappears as soon as you grab it. Plus, it was overly taxed because they gave it to you in a lump sum. You see the problem? But I'm going to be honest. We were too busy worried about the SNAP recipients. It's only the 4th day of the month, and y'all already worried about the SNAP benefits. These dudes that are government employees, they literally have not been paid. Government employees haven't been paid for over a month. Your SNAP benefits just canceled out 4 days ago. Their shit has been canceled out for 4 days plus 30. That's why I say let's worry about the government employees because they've been suffering longer than the people that need EBT. I'm not saying the people that need EBT don't need it. They need it too, but you gotta, troops, FBI, CIA, HSI, those people, air traffic controllers, TSA, y'all need to pay these people because don't get mad if some shit busts off because you allowed the government to get shut down this long. I think this is the longest in history, perhaps. Maybe, but you can't get mad if this is, you know what's wrong with this right now? Our country is very vulnerable. Our country is super vulnerable right now where it's susceptible to attack, bro. That's the prime wrong with that now. The air traffic controls might let somebody through in this motherfucker. Now they're susceptible to, how do you say it? When somebody pay you for information that you shouldn't have. Now somebody using it. Hey man, I'll give you $10,000. Just let this bag go through. Shit, I need it because my bills due. And that's why you should never allow these people to not get paid because now they're being coerced to do other things, which they examine when you first get hired that, oh man, if your credit bad, if whoop-de-whoop, then we don't want to hire you as a federal agent because you might be susceptible to sell data, sabotage the government over a little money. But now the government's not paying you. At least pay these people livable wages and keep it coming. You think they think they got a secure job. They don't got a secure job. Not a job. It's secure, but now you're not getting paid because some people want to argue. The demos want to argue, G, and they want their way. So everybody suffer. That being said, who y'all going to pick for this election? You got to pick right, man. Stop picking leaders that's going to make everybody suffer just to get their point across. Y'all got to understand this stuff is important. I know I used to grow up and people, definitely a lot of black people, they used to tell me, bro, I don't care about the election. I'm like, all right, you gonna care. Definitely you work for those government facilities, you gonna care. You gonna care when the flights are always canceled because why? Because the government shut down. Other stuff that's government ran. When your SNAP stop, you gonna care. Oh, now they care. Motherfuckers come out the woodwork now because the government benefits stop. Yeah. Can't retire because they don't got the money to give it to you right now. You gotta wait. You're pushing your retirement back. This is despicable. Take care of the government workers first, and then take care of the people with the SNAP because they're the least ones suffering right now. Because it's only been 4 days since the stopping of SNAP. You telling me somebody got no food in their crib? No, but I know for a fact those people they can't pay their house mortgage and they can't pay their everything else. Car note, that shit gonna stay on your credit. So what's happening is the government is kind of fucking up everybody's credit, which is making it susceptible to lose your car, and it's going to be harder for you to get another one. And then people that don't work for the government, that got some bread on them, they're going to snatch that car for little to none because they're not in the car business, they're in the finance business. So as that car is sitting out a lot, they're going to give it away for little to none, just like that. It's your boy, AngeloSavage. Tell me what y'all think about this in the comments section. Are you going to be waiting in those long lines, or you just going to not waiting those long lines? You know what I'm saying? Tell me that in the comments section. It's your boy Savage. Let's go. Peace.